Quick warning before we begin. I am not a professional about all this. If I get something wrong, please point it out because I have no one to help with my own scripts because I'm stupid and can't commission anyone with it at all. Alright, continue. Hey pups, RP here. Now this video is probably not the most professionally thing ever made to help people upon creating an OC, fan character, etc. These are just my thoughts, opinions, and experiences with this topic. This mostly applies to the fandoms I'm a part of, and that does include Steven Universe, Pokemon, the furry fandom, creepypasta, Dragon Ball Super, etc. I would recommend taking the entire video as a good learning video, but hopefully some advice I can give and will give is considered good to a majority of viewers. But if it's horrible advice to said viewers, then that's all well and good. Now, let's get started on today's topic, which is, if you have not read the title, creating a character. Creating a character is not an easy thing to do for most people. This applies to things like cartoons, TV shows, movies, anime, manga, books, comics, video games, basically anything involving media and entertainment. Characters such as Steven and Goku are represented as protagonists, aka the main heroes of the media they are part of, while characters like Frieza and Team Rocket are antagonists, villains of the media they are part of. For example, a character such as Goku is a protagonist because even though he isn't the brightest crane in the box who enjoys fighting all too much, he's very protective of his friends and family members as well as Earth. Frieza is clearly an antagonist because he only cares about power, control, and his own greedy needs because he's an emperor. I know it isn't the best example I could give off, but it's basically the only thing I could think of because I've got Dragon Ball Super on the brain. But there can also be anti-heroes. Characters who seem like villains at first, but turn out to be not so evil as they made themselves out to be. A few examples are Vegeta, Beerus, Shadow the Hedgehog, and Rouge the Bat. Now, for some random character terminology. An OC is an original character. Pretty self-explanatory. An example of an OC is a persona or self-insert. And an original character doesn't really count as a fan character, but that's just my opinion. Fan character. A fan character is created by a fan of an existing franchise that is based around ideas, concepts, characters, and lore from that franchise. For example, Sweetheart the Emerald is a Steven Universe fan character. Persona. A persona is an animal character that represents oneself in the furry fandom. They can be anthro or feral. An example of a persona is Buddy the Husky. And finally, self-insert. A self-insert is a character that represents the writer or artist. An example of a self-insert is my persona Kate Rorston. Now that we've got the terminology out of the way, let's get into creating a character. Whether they be an original character, or fan character, or anything for that matter, we're gonna go ahead and dive right into the easy one, fan characters. They may or may not be easy to make, but it all depends on the writer or artist. For this one, we're going to take a very popular franchise as a quick example. Pokemon. How painfully obvious is this one for me? Say you want to create a Pokemon character. Is it a human trainer, a gym leader, a team member grunt, or Pokemon? Ask yourself these questions when creating a fan character for any franchise. This also includes to Steven Universe, Dragon Ball, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, etc. Once you decide on what your character is going to be, let's say a Pikachu for example, you have to think of a good design for your Pikachu character now. Do you want to give them accessories, clothes, jewelry, or headwear for example? Do you want them to have a different color scheme than your original design in the games and/or anime? Do you want to give them hair? Just like when you're creating a character, ask yourself the same questions if you want to have add-ons to your character. This also applies to personas, OCs, other fan characters, and self-inserts. If you want to make a character a self-insert, that's perfectly fine. You want to make a self-insert persona? That works. Fan character self-insert? Absolutely yes! You can do the same with self-inserts, just by making them into furries, Pokemon, etc. If this is your first time on creating a character, do what you want to do first and be creative. If you want to, or are ready for it, ask for critique on your character, and be sure to ask for constructive criticism. Not all criticism is good. If it's destructive, ignore it and just tell them to stuff it. Constructive critique is there to help you. Once a character is made, Try and make a ref sheet if you have the time, or just draw the character in some drawings or doodles. If you want to make changes, that's perfectly fine. No one can tell you how to express your creativity. If you want, give your character personality, bio, likes and dislikes, and a backstory. What are they like? Are they a hero, villain, anti-hero? What do they like? What do they hate? What's their backstory? Again, ask yourself these questions, and if you're not really there yet, that's alright. Just take your time and don't rush yourself on it. And finally, above all, be creative and improve. No one can tell you how to express your creativity. Have fun with it and keep practicing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If so, be sure to like and subscribe to the Pepper Pack today if you're new here. Special thanks to the fan artists for creating this amazing art, including KaiArt on Twitter, and Cario6 on DeviantArt, and Divins on DeviantArt. If you want your fan art featured, my social links are in the description, as well as my streaming channels and side channels. Huge thanks to my Patreon and Patreon for their support. If you want to support what I do, the link to my Patreon is in the description. As always, I'll see you later, pups. Stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful.